Welcome back to Unfiltered Summit Sisters. Most of the time we say if you're not watching on YouTube, what are you doing? Because of the view, we have a different kind of view that you should be here.
We have babies.
We have babies, special kind of babies. Not our crotch goblin babies.
Not our crotch goblins. These ones are 4 weeks old and they're so stinking cute.
And they're furry, and they're bitey, and they're scratchy, and they're playful.
So if you didn't know, one of Gina's jobs is that she breeds German short-haired pointers, and one of her girls just had a litter of 10.
10. I don't want to nurse 10 puppies. Dogs. Humans? 10 anything.
Yeah.
I don't want to do...
Nope.
She had our children in one go. Woo! Woo! But only for 1 week. After 8 weeks, she's done. Like, even now.
Yeah.
But anyway. Yes.
I don't blame her.
Yeah.
But they are 4 weeks old today.
Today's their birthday.
And they're just so sweet and cute, and we thought you guys should be able to get a little taste of them. So
let's be honest, this is more for us.
it's true. Puppy therapy.
Yes. It's a thing. Look it up.
They're
Or
so
don't.
sweet.
Don't fact check me on that one. But today we wanted to talk about tattoos. Because we love our tattoos.
Yes.
And we are the kind of people that both love meaning behind tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
And so ours have stories. So, and you just got some fresh ink.
I did.
So why don't you start us off and tell us about your tattoos, and then I'd love to hear more about your most recent experience.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so yeah, I love all of my tattoos. The ones I have are on my forearms here. And every single one of them, there has been a lot of thought and detail and prayer put into them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the oldest of 7. I was the last one to get a tattoo.
They're like, you hooligan.
Yeah. So I got these in 3 different settings. So this first piece down here is arrows and feathers. The arrows represent each of my living babies here on Earth, and the falling feathers represent babies that I've lost through miscarriage.
Tell me about a little bit about the process of like creating that, because your tattoo artist, I believe, was a big instrument in the art of all of that.
He did. So another thing I'm really big on is everything on me is custom.
Mm-hmm.
It's single use only. It's something that's been designed specifically for me, and no one else will ever use it.
Yeah.
Which I really love. So I came to him with the idea of I really want to do something to honor my kids that I have here, but also the babies that I've lost.
Mm-hmm.
I came up with the idea of arrows because there's a Bible verse in Psalms that says, I'm going to mess it up if I don't look it up. Dang it. It says something like, children are arrows in the hands of a warrior, and blessed are those who have their quiver full.
Okay.
And so I wanted arrows based on that Bible verse, and then I wasn't sure what to do for the babies that I lost through miscarriage, and so I kind of gave him
artistic freedom
artistic freedom to kind of create, and what he came up with was so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And even the arrows have so much detail to them. There's some of them are shaded in certain spots, but some of them are I don't even know, like pixelated, I guess.
Yeah.
Pixelated in certain areas, so the detail is just beautiful. And I never realized how healing a tattoo could be until I got my first one, right? So I got this after I had my last miscarriage with Josiah. I was 3 months pregnant with him. And that one was the hardest one of all of them for me. And getting this tattoo was so healing for me, and it's hard to even put into words, but it's like he's always there with me.
Josiah.
Yeah, he's always there with me. I know that he's okay. I know that he's with God.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a really special way for me to remember and honor him.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then above that you have...
Above that was this was the next piece. The top of it says, Still I Rise. There's mountains, which I got before we moved to Utah, by the way.
Yeah, it's a sign.
The mountains have always been special to me. And then a Bible verse, Micah 7:8. I got that when I was going through my divorce process, just through leaving an abusive narcissist and all that comes with that. This Bible verse really spoke to me. It says, I'm not quoting it exactly, but it basically says, enemies, don't rejoice over me, because even though I sit in darkness right now, don't gloat over me, because the Lord will be my light and I will rise again. And so to have that as a reminder of what I went through, as a reminder to me that I am an overcomer. He created me to be an overcomer, and with God at my side, we have overcome every single thing that I've ever been through.
Yeah.
And so it gives me strength just to look down at that and be reminded of that.
Yeah. And then you've got words above it too.
Still I rise.
Yeah, I love that.
Yep. So that was that one. And then my newest one,
So exciting.
which is really new, she is less than a week old at this
Yeah.
point, is a special cross that was designed specifically for my family, so for the Hayden family. A family friend created this custom piece, and Dad has it, Mom has it, and 2 of my brothers have it. So it has been a long time coming. I've really wanted to get it, but obviously we moved to Utah, right? And I didn't have a tattoo artist, and finding a new tattoo artist is like trying to find a new hairstylist. It's the worst. Like,
I was gonna go with like finding a nanny, but that's probably more accurate.
But I finally found someone that I really wanted to use. I called around and looked at artwork, and she did a fabulous job. Now, Mom and Dad and brothers have it shaded in, but I wanted to keep the outline. There's so much detail, and it really is beautiful, and I wanted it here, and if we were to shade it in, it would have taken away from so much of the detail.
I agree.
And so I'm really glad that I left it like this, because
I love it not filled in. I think it looks so good, and I love that it makes it a little bit more your own.
It makes it a little bit more, so I have the family cross, but I'm the only one that doesn't have it shaded in, so it's a little twist of my own.
Yeah.
And I think it still looks badass, but a little bit feminine.
Yeah.
Because I didn't fill it in.
Yes.
So that one has a lot of family meaning behind that too. So, and now I need more.
You're already itching for the next.
Now,
do you have any ideas of what you would want and where, or even where you would put anything?
Gosh, I need to put something down here under the cross, because this looks really full to me, and this still looks empty right here to me.
Okay.
And so I don't know what I want to put there. I don't like putting things that everybody else has, right?
Yeah.
So like one of my thoughts was, God is with it. Something along the lines of another verse in Psalms that says, God is within her, she will not fail. But the problem is that's a super popular tattoo.
Okay.
And so I'm like, nope, not doing that because everybody else is doing it, which describes my life perfectly.
Yes.
So, but I really, really love my tattoos. It takes me a really long time to decide, to finalize, and commit, because I'm putting them on my body forever, right?
Yeah.
And they do mean so much, and each one reminds me of something, and is a kind of like a, this might sound really stupid, but it's kind of like, you remember in the Bible how they would, Israelites would travel around, or other people in the Bible would travel around, and where really important things happened, they would build altars to remember what had happened at that place, to worship God and to be grateful and to show gratitude and to remember what had been done there.
Yeah.
That's what my tattoos are for me.
Right. They all, like, you overcame a lot of things, and each of them give that victory, which is really empowering.
It really is.
Because it's kind of like in your eyes, I would think, it's just like a map of where you've been and how far you've come and what you're able to accomplish.
Right. And so it's a reminder on those hard days, hard weeks, hard seasons of, you've been through worse.
Yeah.
You can get through this. You've been through worse.
Yes. I love it. I also want you to tell them about, like, while you were getting your tattoo.
No. Right. So
I asked, I was like, how did it go? And you were like, it was the best.
It was the best. It was, so none of my tattoos I've gotten have hurt at all. I would say some of the arrows down by my wrist, there may have been a little spot or a little nerve that was tender, but none of them have actually hurt.
Right. Where you're like needing a break, you're needing to breathe through it.
I've never had needed to do any of that. And so I, learned that when I get tattoos, my brain turns off, which is pretty incredible, because there are very few things that turn my brain off. Okay. Yeah. So I can only name like 3. Like, one is training. Which also involves flipping a tire. Another is making bread. I've learned making sourdough bread, which is funny because it's so different from the other ones.
Yes.
And then getting a tattoo, which is going to be a very expensive way to turn my brain off.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will. You're
but
gonna
not
run
only
out of space.
that,
you're not a big person. You're going to run out of space.
The pain was kind of enjoyable. I kind of liked it.
Yeah, I get that.
And she was done. I was like, "What? Already?
Can we do it again?
Can we do more?"
Let's do it again. Only my back and the whole thing. From the nape of my neck to my tailbone.
So I texted you. I was like, there might be something wrong with me, but I actually quite enjoyed that process, and the pain was enjoyable.
I think it's so funny. I think a lot of people do experience that, though. I don't think you're the only one.
I think so too, yeah.
But that's so, I don't know. It's so good looking.
It looks so good. It's healing so well. She did so good. She had to get in with a single needle in some of the really teeny tiny places.
Mm-hmm.
And she did fabulous. So
So good.
I'm super happy with that.
But now you have to like keep it all hidden from the sun.
I know.
Hey, take one of these puppies. I maxed out.
Don't wake them up. They're sleeping. That's rude. Okay, but I'm really interested to share with our listeners your journey on tattoos, right? So we've talked about before on the podcast how in your church, for a long time, it's been frowned upon to get tattoos.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, I want you to share with our listeners what that journey has been like for you, and how just the Spirit guided you to where you've come to a decision about tattoos now.
Yeah. So with my religion, there's guidelines and there's more like rules, and the rules are things where we're not kicking you out of the religion, but there's certain things like going to the temple, you have to be worthy and follow certain things to be able to go. So for the temple, you go in for an interview and there's questions they ask. Do you believe in God? Do you believe in Christ? Do you have faith in these things? Do you believe in the prophets that we currently have living? Are you living something what we call the word of wisdom, which is where we do believe like our bodies are a temple and we treat them a certain way? Mm-hmm. And those questions are the word of wisdom is more like drinking and smoking and doing drugs, stuff like that. But tattoos isn't there. And so it is something that has been spoken about by prophets and by a lot of different people in the church, just about like we recommend not kind of a thing. But it's not a hard thing that's going to keep me from being able to participate in all of the parts of my religion.
Okay.
And so after my divorce, and I wasn't reevaluating my religion. I was just rediscovering my stance with everything from a really personal space instead of an obedient space. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So instead of like, oh, here are the rules and I just have to follow them, I'm going, I want to dig so deep and follow these rules to my core. I want to understand it. And so when I kind of got to the tattoo part, I never wanted tattoos in my life, but there was something about this freedom. And just like you were saying, the ideas that I had for the tattoos that I was starting to discover that I wanted, all were parts of what I have gone through, what I've overcome, the massive trials and things that didn't beat me. And so I just prayed about it, and I just have this individual relationship with my Heavenly Father, and I was just like, this is what I want. And I felt like He was like, that's okay. Right. And so I don't feel like I'm going against my religion. I am not doing it out of rebellion. I am not doing it to make a statement of like, oh my gosh, look how badass I am. I'm going, these are for me.
Right.
And they represent something special to me. And that's what kind of was my decision with that, is it didn't take me away from the Spirit. It didn't take me away from my Heavenly Father. It didn't keep me from Christ. And so I felt like it was something it was okay to do. And other people are going to have totally different experiences, and I respect that.
Absolutely.
But that was mine. So, and I think the perfect example of all this is my first tattoo was a little bit on a whim. It's this heart that I have on my wrist. And this was one on a whim, meaning like I booked it quickly, but the idea of it was so embedded in me. So I have really low self-esteem. I have a really hard time viewing myself in a positive light, and it's something I'm working on. It's something I have been working on for years. And there was a moment where I went to church and I wore a dress for the first time. I usually wear like skirts and oversized stuff that I wore since I was pregnant. And I had done my hair and I had like girl shoes instead of just flip-flops. And I had been working so hard on self-esteem and just loving myself.
Yeah.
And I remember walking into church and I was like, I feel pretty. And that was like me. And I was like, I tried not to cry about it. And I walked and I was like, I feel pretty. And the response from my peers and stuff were just like, you're glowing and you look beautiful. And I was like, I know. And not in a cocky way, right? But like I felt that within, which is
in a confident way.
And it makes me cry now because I've never felt that way about myself before in my entire life. And it's still something I battle with just because I feel like it's a weakness I have that's been set in me for generations. I don't think it's all mine. I think it's energy I carry from generations before me as well. And so beating that anytime I feel like Satan attacks in that spot.
Absolutely.
And so to have this heart here, I do look at it, and when I am having hard times, I'm going, no, love, like you are loved by God, you're loved by Christ, and you love you. Like, remember how that felt to walk in feeling beautiful, feeling valued, feeling just, I know my Heavenly Father loves me, but for me to get to that point was a really big deal. And so for me, that's why this is so special to me, because it's not just like overcoming it, just reminds me to the point of tears of that exact moment of the first time I loved myself. Which,
that's huge.
It seems so silly saying it out loud, though.
But it's not. It's not. There's so many people that struggle with this particular thing. And so to be able to have a front row, to see you make that journey to really loving yourself has been so cool. We've talked about it before, but it's seeing like bright, shiny, excited, happy Gina who walks around and dances in her front yard and doesn't give a flip what anybody else thinks, because she knows she's awesome and she's worthy.
That's the worthiness, right? It's stuff like that. It's stuff that's core values that help me be a better person. And it wasn't just I happened to wear a pretty dress that day. It was a result of a year and a half of working really hard on it, of loving myself, putting action into it. And maybe that's something we do a podcast about, because it wasn't one day I was like, oh, I love myself. I still work hard on it. So I love having that reminder there. And it's just a simple heart. It's little.
But it means so much.
But it means so much. So that one was really important. My second tattoo I have on my bicep, and it's mountains with stars above it.
Give us a little flex. Let's go. We want to see it. Yeah, girl. There we go.
And I'm tan too, so I'm like, absolutely. Yeah. But this was like the very first tattoo I ever thought of that I wanted. Because the mountains have been, like, that is where, I mean, the mountains I feel like mean so much to both of us. It's where we do so much of our healing. It's where we do so much of our pouring our souls out. I feel so connected to God when I'm in the mountains. Yes. When they shut down the canyon like they do right now, where we don't have access to the whole space, I feel like claustrophobic. Yeah. Because I love it when we like go to the porch and they look at us and they're like, how many times have you been up the canyon? And we're like, today,
or like
this week,
since lunch.
Because there's times where we're up there multiple times a day. So I love the mountains. I love what it does for me and my soul. I love taking my kids up there and the connection. So the mountains are a special place, and stars have always been something that's special to me. And so what I did with these, and I think I took a little inspiration from your feather and arrow tattoo, was just that, like, I've always loved stargazing since I was a kid. I remember laying on my trampoline stargazing. I super love them. But there's 5 different kinds of stars. You know, there's like the one that has, there's all different styles. Right. So there's 5 different ones to represent all of my babies, which I love, and they all picked them out, which is also my favorite. And so this one took 5 years in the making of how I wanted it to go. So this one was a whim, but I needed to capture that energy. This one was a big thought process thing. So I have a shooting star, which is my youngest Thomas, because he is barreling through life.
That checks.
Absolutely. And then I've got one that's a little bit smaller. So I have my 4 boys, but then I too lost a baby. I've lost a couple of babies, but this last one that I miscarried for, that you held me through. Physically. Literally were in bed with me while I was going through it. There was a lot more emotion to it, because I actually felt like I lost a baby, where the other one was like I didn't have a viable embryo. So for that one, I felt like we actually lost a baby. And so the kids always like to point it out. Like, that's the baby that died. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, they're a little brutal about that. James is like, I'm not the youngest. Like,
does he really?
Josiah is the youngest. I'm like, yes, I'm aware. Thank you, son.
It's so funny. But I think my next one I want to do is my phoenix.
Yes.
So the girl that did my mountains and stars, I did that last summer. She's the same one that did your new cross.
Yes.
And so I really love her.
She did such a good job. So I looked up that tattoo shop and looked at all the different artists that work there, and all of their work is amazing. Yeah. So then I called and asked, I was like, how in the world am I supposed to pick one person, because all of their stuff, everybody looks like they do a great job. And so I was able to describe to her my tattoo and the fine lines and the small detail. And I did not tell her that you had gotten a tattoo by someone there because I wanted the recommendation to be real.
Yes.
Right? She recommended the same girl that
No
did
way?
yours. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Which is why I went with her. It wasn't just because you had gone to her. Like, I wanted to make sure that she was going to be the best. She was like, she's the best for fine lines and details of what you're wanting.
I love it.
Yeah.
Because I love the details of my mountains. Because I gave her the general idea because I'm not an artist. So I was like, here's the idea. I want a mountain range with some detail, but I want it super, super simple.
Right.
And then I have these stars and they're going to be different styles. And I just kind of sent her like clip art of the general shape and she put it together and I was like, it's perfect. I love it so much.
Oh, yeah. She really is an artist. She's awesome. We'll shout her out on this episode and tag the tattoo shop and tag her as well.
Yeah. So if you're in Salt Lake and you need a tattoo artist,
Gabby's your girl.
Gabby's your girl. So she actually designed the Phoenix that was the original tattoo I was going to get. And I was like, the night before, I was like, could you make up the mountain range one too? And she's like, absolutely. And so when I was there, as soon as I saw the mountain range one, I was like, yeah, we're doing it. Absolutely. But now I really want to get my Phoenix. I just don't know where. But she created one. And in the Phoenix, I had her add the date that not my freedom day, but my freedom year, like the year that I left. Because that was the day that
I love that.
Rose from the ashes.
Heck yeah.
So
I like certain placements.
I hadn't noticed. Every time I ask people, they're like, put it on your ass. And I was like, no.
Oh my gosh.
But I'm thinking either
No
my shoulder.
stamps.
I'm thinking shoulder blade or my forearm because I don't have anything on my forearm.
Yeah.
So
I love being able to look down and see mine.
that's my thing is because they have meaning, I love being able to see them because because mine's on my bicep, I haven't been able to see it so long because of the weather.
Right.
And so now that it's warmer, I'm like putting my hair up and I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot I have a tattoo and I love you so much. But it just, I don't know. I love that they're all special to us.
I think one of the big questions people are going to want to know is, are we ever going to get matching tattoos or best friend tattoos?
Our tramp stamps are in the making.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool ideas because I thought we were doing that under our eyes.
So we could stand, right? You do your right eye, I do my left, so we can stand together and it
says hubba hubba.
Perfect. We do. We want to get semi-matching tattoos.
Yeah, not same, but like
we want
to
go
together.
Twist to it.
Yes.
So we've got a couple of ideas in the works.
Oh my gosh, have them send us their ideas.
That would be a good idea. What kind of best friend tattoos should we get?
But there's a lot of fun ideas out there. We just got to find them. I think one of the ones we talked about was getting like a lavender sprig, which I liked, but we haven't put a lot of thought into it. But I like that one because we met through doTERRA and their main like logo-ish thing is lavender.
Yeah.
So I kind of thought that would be like a little deeper meaning.
Right.
But we were in Hobby Lobby throwing things around and we thought of that. So
yeah, we've got some ideas. So I guess the question would be, do you guys have any best friend tattoo ideas for us?
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite tattoo that you've gotten?
Do you want to get a tattoo? What would you want to get?
Yeah.
Where should I put my Phoenix? What are you getting next? Do you even have an idea?
I don't know yet. I don't want to say anything yet.
All right. Well, I am grateful that I have a relationship with my Heavenly Father that I get to make decisions for myself and have the confidence because there's nothing about my tattoos that I feel ashamed about, even going to church with shorter sleeves, because I'm solely confident in my relationship with my Heavenly Father. And I don't judge other people for the choices they make, and I'm not worried if they judge me about mine because they have meaning and Heavenly Father. Jesus still loves me.
Absolutely. I am grateful for the healing my tattoos have brought me, for the remembrance that they have brought me, just for them being kind of like pillars of strength, a place to remind me how good God has been in my life, even through the darkest times.
So good. So good. Okay. All right. Till next time.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Unfiltered Summit Sisters.
Come join us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok to get a sneak peek into our lives.
It's beautiful, chaotic, crazy, and fun.
What else would you expect raising 10 kids?
All the links you need are in the show notes.
See you next week.